This morning, we welcome for the first time Barbara Frick and Betsy Foltz, and they're from the Friendship Tea House. So, did I say it wrong?
You're fine.
Oh, okay. I thought I got to look like I said your name wrong.
No.
Oh.
I'm just here for moral support.
I see. Okay. Well, the Friendship Tea House, this is in Lamar's.
Yes.
So, Barb, why don't you explain what it is?
Okay, the Friendship Tea House is somewhat of an old-fashioned experience where you make a reservation and you have wonderful food, but it's a kind of a fancy and fun party atmosphere. I have 150 hats.
Which we're wearing. I'm wearing one now.
Yes, you are, and so am I, and so is Betsy.
Yes, so...
You get to pick it. Generally, when someone walks in the door, I will ask them to go find a hat that either matches your outfit, your personality, and usually it's both. Because we dress our personality.
Well, fun.
So they have a large selection of hats, and the food is wonderful, and we take pictures, we celebrate birthdays, we do everything.
So it's kind of, it's going back in time a little ways. Tea houses used to be around quite a bit.
Yes.
So what got you to, because I assume this is, you started this, so
yes.
What made you or got you thinking about doing this?
Okay, it's been 10 years since this vision or dream is probably a better word started. And I was in my early 50s, and I was going through a hard time in life. And when you go through hard times, you reevaluate what it is you want and where it is you're going. And so it came out of a kind of a hard time in my life where I saw a picture of a little girl sipping tea with her pinky up in the Argus Leader. We're originally from Sioux Falls. And I said to my mom, that's what I want to do. I want to create these memories and this experience for people that they can treasure for the rest of their life. And so it kind of just came out of ugliness, but it's a beautiful, beautiful place. And so that's why I do it, and it's been 10 years this year.
So some people that are not familiar with Lamar's, so it's in the old flower shop, right?
Correct.
So
right
it's
off of
about
Highway 75.
1 block south of Casey's is where it is?
That's exactly right.
Okay. And so you talked about the experience of walking in, choosing a hat, but talk about what people experience when they go in there. It's just served tea. Talk about how it goes.
Okay. Well, the atmosphere is somewhat overwhelming in a beautiful way. So when they come in, that's the first response. Oh, it's that. And then you come in and you do drink tea, but I do offer coffee if someone is just absolutely adamantly against tea, which is fine. But what you experience is around the table. That's the old-fashioned part of this, is people sitting around a table, building community, building friendships, building relationships, laughing together. With COVID and everything, we kind of got out of that, and that was a really hard time for all of us to be so isolated. So now it's coming back out together and gathering and having fun and creating memories. I do have little conversation cards, and they're old. They're like old-fashioned ones. So people just sit around the table and play with these conversation cards, and it is just hysterical. They're just laughing, and I don't know, everybody just gets so elevated in their mood, and the experience is heartwarming. It's just a lovely, and it's a 2-hour experience. So I make homemade scones, and they are my specialty. That is, a lot of people come for my scones, and but the whole food is all homemade. Everything is made that more. I work very hard to give you a very wonderful, memorable experience. And a bonus to this is that I also do photo taking. I do photo shoots with the group. So every group, I take the picture of your whole group, and all dressed up in their hats and boas and shawls and jewelry and dresses and whatever, and I take that picture, and I ask with permission if I can put it on my Facebook page, which pretty much everyone says yes. And so then we share, it's part of the building the community. We share that experience with everyone.
Well, and what I love hearing about this too is, some of us remember, not all of us remember a time before cell phones, where you sit down and actually have a conversation.
Yes.
Even in restaurants. I mean, I'm guilty of it. Sitting down, going out with my wife or my kids and things like that, and I sit there and pick up my cell phone and start looking at it.
Right.
The real conversation is lacking, I think.
Yes.
And to sit there and go and then have these things where you don't have to force anything out of yourself to say, I don't know what to talk about, but you've got things to talk about. And enjoy each other as people sounds really fun.
It is really. It's fancy and fun.
Yeah. So if people are interested in doing this, they're saying, what sort of things would they look at it for? Birthdays? I mean...
Yes. Birthdays are huge. You would just give me a phone call, which my number is on my website. It's on my Facebook page. It's on my sign out in front of the building. So you would just call and make that reservation. Some people plan their own birthday parties. And then other people plan them for. I've had surprise birthday parties before where the birthday person did not know, and they walk in and they're like wowed. And so bridal showers are another thing. A lot of ladies come for Girls' Day Out, and it's just a fun place to go and just build relationships.
Bible studies.
Bible study groups come.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you. And farewell parties, retirement parties, grandma play dates. But going back to the birthdays, that is our specialty. And I want to say one person we moved here from New Mexico. My husband retired out of the military in New Mexico, so we ended up staying there a few extra years. And so I started the tea house in New Mexico.
Okay.
Yes. So we did it. We were in our third year in New Mexico when COVID hit and we got shut down by the state. One lady in New Mexico planned her own party, invited her friends, and once everybody got there were like 6 people that came in addition to her. She's 67 years old. This is a really cool story. She was sitting there at the head of the table with her birthday cake in front of her and everything, and she shared with her friends that this was her first birthday party ever.
Wow.
67 years old.
That's really kind of almost sad.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
But no one ever celebrated her life. And that was a message to me to make that day really special. And before we moved to New Mexico, I was a pro-life speaker. So I have a lot of pro-life bones inside of me. And the fact that someone's life was not celebrated really got into my heart. And that's why we work so hard to create that you are special, this is your day, and we're going to pull out all the stakes to make your day really amazing.
Oh, that is
and so that's what we do.
Well, I think a lot of people, when listening to this, they think of the English drinking a lot of tea.
Yes.
And actually, it's not. And you gave me a little piece of information here to read. The upper-class Dutch were the first to bring tea to the Northern Hemisphere in the 1640s. More tea drinkers from the Netherlands than from England. So that's interesting. It makes total sense. My whole family drinks tea all the time, and that's very much actually, they make fun of me because when I go there have tea, I still put milk and sugar in it.
Of course.
And that's only for kids, they say. But that's what, they like to give me a hard time about. But, Barb, explain a little bit, what's Betsy's role here? I know she doesn't want to talk. She says but what's Betsy doing here?
Okay, well, Betsy is my niece. Okay. And so when we decided to move back home to the Midwest, I was looking for a place to live in South Dakota, and I just could not find anything. Of course, it needed to be special because we were looking for a business and a house. And just nothing was coming up. So I went home back to New Mexico, and I just prayed. I said, God, this is in your hands. I don't know what to do. And so I went back to New Mexico, and my niece... Okay, Betsy, you take over.
So we moved here 9 years ago. My husband is the chief medic at the ambulance service in Sioux Center.
Very nice.
And, yes. And we have not had any relatives in the area. The closest one was Sioux Falls. And I kept on telling Barb, you need to move this way. You would love Iowa. You need to move this way. Because at that time, South Dakota was a mess. Everybody was moving to South Dakota. Okay. And I'm thinking, no, come to Iowa, because Iowa is kind of the quiet, really great place to settle right now. It's a great state to come to. And I've traveled a lot recently, and I fully back that statement still. I'm like, you need to look at this area. You're close to grandma. You're close to your brothers and sisters. We're here. Come here. So one morning I was up at like 5 o'clock in the morning heading to Sioux City for a soccer game, and my car kept flashing, take a break, the little coffee popping thing that I obviously wasn't driving very well. And so I was going to shoot through and get some coffee. Well, I actually missed the first half of the game because I drove by the flower shop, and I'm like, I called them, I woke them up because it's an hour earlier than it is here in a different time zone, and I'm like, I found your tea house. And I was taking pictures of it. I was calling the realtor. I'm like,
so it's your fault.
It's my fault.
It's your fault. Okay.
What I remember is her sending me a text saying, Aunt Barb, would this make a cute tea house? Because it's all about cute.
Wow, that's awesome. It's amazing to listen to some of the connections when people move here, how that sort of thing happens. It's a really neat thing, especially when it happens to your family and it turns out to be a really neat thing. I know we don't have tons of time, but you probably got different tea people can drink and lots of. If people are curious, like what the menu items are, where would they go?
Okay, you need to go to my website, friendshipteahouse.com, and there is a menu tab, and everything you need to know is on the menu tab. And if it's not there, then call me and ask me, because I will just fill in any spots that aren't making sense to you. But I do have a large tea selection that people can choose from. There's one tea plant, and it's called the Camellia sinensis. But from that one tea plant, you have the different types of teas that we enjoy: the black tea, the oolong tea, the green tea, and the white tea. And so, and how they make their teas is based on how it's processed. Okay, so your milder teas are going to be your white teas and your oolong teas. So this summer, the most popular tea that everybody wanted was the white peach tea. And so you get to choose your tea. You get 2 pots of tea with every tea party. I will give you 2 choices from my list, and I'll show you what the white peach. It has peach pieces in it, calendula petals, and natural flavors. It is delicate and refreshing, vibrant and sweet. It protects against premature aging and is beneficial for weight management. Okay, when the ladies read that, they're like, that's the one I want.
That's the one I want. It's because that's the one I want.
And it's also mild and a lovely tea. And I am going to begin selling my teas in the next week.
Okay.
I have not offered them for sale yet. But when you come to a party and if you love the teas that I'm serving you, you will have the ability to buy them now, starting next week.
So, you mentioned ladies a lot, but do men go?
Men love to go to the tea house. And, well, I'm not going to say boys love it. Some boys do. But
my 17-year-old does.
They get into it. Well, I'm talking little boys. But once they get past it, and they start seeing I have boy things for dress up, then they like it. But the men love the food. My food is all homemade scones. We have finger sandwich. It is a traditional tea party.
Yeah.
Finger sandwiches, deviled eggs. It's all good food.
Well, and there's a play area too. You said you have for the kids.
Yes, and what is unique about the Friendship Tea House is that there is a play area for the kids, and it's because of my strong belief in children and life. And so it is dedicated to the children. There's a whole dress up area where lots of clothes for the children to choose. There's a dress up room, there's gloves, necklaces, wigs, shoes. They get the full dress up experience in the tea house.
Very nice. It sounds like a hoot. It sounds like a lot of fun. And if people have question on pricing, is that also on your website? They can
Everything's
see it?
under the menu tab.
All right, perfect. And we want to make sure reservations only.
Yes.
Okay.
You must call and talk to me, and then we set up all the details over the phone.
Okay. And understanding it's not just in Lamar's. People from all over can come.
That is right. It is a regional outreach. They come down from Sioux Falls. They've come from all over the area.
All right. Well,
up from Sioux City.
Ladies, I've had a lot of fun meeting you. Again, it's called the Friendship Tea House in Lamar's. It's check out the website one more time. And her motto is "Pour yourself a memory," which is pretty neat. But if you want to give your website and Facebook one more time, people can know how to get there.
Absolutely. The website is friendshipteahouse.com, and if you go on the Facebook, you can like my page, Friendship Tea House, And with permission from all the parties, I do post the pictures of everyone dressed up and having fun. So you're welcome to go through the pictures and get some ideas.
All right. Well, ladies, it's been fun. This sounds like a lot of fun, and appreciate. I love having these unique conversations about, yeah, this is kind of out of the ordinary. You should really go have an experience, right?
Yes.
So thanks so much for being here this morning.
All right. Thank you very much.